All right, guys, looks like we are going to be in for an action-packed week if everything turns out when it comes to some of the rumors and information and things that people have been saying about a potential Nintendo Direct, some evidence that actually supports that. Nintendo Switch 2, we got some developers talking openly about it, and so much more. But before we get into all that, what's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you are someone new, and click that notification bell to get the best Nintendo Switch and RPG news on YouTube. Now let's go ahead and jump right into it here because we're going to be talking about My Sims from EA and how My Sims relates to a potential Nintendo Direct announcement soon. So let's talk about this. So EA has listed or announced the Switch version of My Sims officially on their website ahead of the game's official announcement at some point. Now, you guys are checking it out right here, and it's saying the company page for Nintendo Switch titles. It's being developed on there. My Sims was originally a spin-off to the hugely popular Sims franchise that was released back on the Wii and the DS in 2007. So they're taking a game that's going on 20 years old now, and at this point and saying, all right, you guys can get this now. Like EA in their infinite wisdom when it comes down to it. So how does this relate to the Nintendo Direct? Well, this is one of those announcements that seems like it would be in the B-roll for a Nintendo Direct. It seems really random that out of nowhere, this game just showed up on the page when it comes to EA.com. And I think that it probably went up a little early, and that essentially they're just like whatever at this point when it comes down to it. So I do feel that the rumors of a Nintendo Direct are more likely at this point. Now, one thing about the Nintendo Direct, guys, I did go over it in a previous video when it comes down to who talked about the Nintendo Direct. It was from PH Brazil, his track record, and all of that. So if you're unfamiliar, make sure you check out my video. I'll have it linked in the description below. Check out that video that goes over the Nintendo Direct and who he is and the quote tweets and all of that and where this is coming from. But yeah, essentially it does seem like we could be getting that Nintendo Direct because you just got a random game like My Sims, which was a game that was pretty popular on the Wii and the Nintendo DS. A lot of people actually liked that game back in the day, people that really enjoyed the Wii and enjoyed the Sims franchises. So I do feel that this is probably going to be happening now because of this and because of PH Brazil's track record and what he's announced before in the past and how a lot of the stuff that he talks about comes true. So once again, check out my video on that. But yeah, My Sims could be linked to the next Nintendo Direct overall. So we'll see what happens there. All right, but let's go ahead and move on to the next topic here, guys. And we've got an update, at least a rumored from Nash Weedle on Mario and Luigi Brothership. And shout outs to my man Stealth, who actually posted this. I didn't see it just because I don't follow Nash Weedle, but he states that according to Nash Weedle, he is expecting a graphical upgrade in the next Mario and Luigi Brothership trailer. He says brotherhood in the tweet, but he means brothership. I've gotten that wrong multiple times myself. I already thought the game looked really good. The art style really works. So yeah, I do think that this is something that Nintendo does quite often when it comes to their games. A lot of the time when you first see the game, it's not complete. They're still working on it. It's subject to change. And often, this has happened with various different Nintendo Switch games from Mario Odyssey all the way through. You'll see the game at first, and while it might look okay, might look good, but once the final product comes out, it can look a lot better or noticeably better. I know Xenoblade Chronicles 2, for example, had a number of new details, different UI changes, fonts, and graphic stuff from when they showed it at E3 compared to the final build that came out in December. So I fully expect Mario and Luigi Brothership to look better than what it did, but it already looked pretty good because it has more of that cartoonish type of art style. So I'm wondering exactly how much better it will look. But yeah, I'm definitely thinking that they're going to refine some of the background, some of the details. I do feel that there's definitely more under the hood that they can use for the Nintendo Switch, despite the game already looking good. Absolutely not maxing out the system just yet. So if the Nintendo Direct is this week or sometime soon, maybe we see that updated trailer with Mario and Luigi Brothership that shows off it looking better. So let me know what you guys think about that in the comment section But now we're going to move on to some Nintendo Switch 2 information. And this is not just random rumors or anything like that. This is actually a developer, Amazon Games, talking about how they're planning content for the Nintendo Switch 2. So shout outs to Nintendo Everything for the article here. When Nintendo is ready to come out with the Switch 2, it looks like Amazon Games will be there, ready to go. Mr. Christopher Hartman, the company's vice president, recently pledged support and shared some other interesting things. So here's Mr. Hartman's exact words, quote, "Yeah, we obviously plan to develop games for it, and I can't wait for it to be out. I mean, honestly, I'd rather have them wait a year and get it perfect than rush it to market and then we all complain about what doesn't work. Switch has been such a fantastic product. I can wait another year if I have to. And from development, I think most non-Nintendo developers are not exclusively doing titles for the Switch. They're always part of a portfolio mix of platform mix. Just wait." So I think that's very interesting here as well. And Amazon Games, they actually put out the title that's called King of Meat. They're publishing that one. That one was announced for the Nintendo Switch at the opening night live with Jeff Keighley. So very interesting game overall. So yeah, I definitely see them, Amazon Games, and many other developers putting games on Switch 2, but this is something that I've talked about before. I might have a separate video on it. The Nintendo Switch was just the beginning. They did not have the type of big support because of the situation that happened with the Nintendo 3DS at launch and the failure of the Wii U. If you look at it overall, developers were not hyped or excited because they didn't know what to expect with the Nintendo Switch. They didn't know how it was going to sell. Now that the Nintendo Switch is established, bona fide mega hit, one of the best selling systems of all time, might end up being the best selling system of all time, and have sold billions of pieces of software overall, yeah, you're going to get a lot more developers excited, wanting to work on it, and wanting to get in so they don't miss out on that money, like a lot of them missed out on not supporting the Nintendo Switch within the first number of years coming on late to the system. So I absolutely see the Nintendo Switch 2 having a more robust catalog of third-party games within the first year or so than what we saw with the Nintendo Switch, and we'll probably see a bit better of a launch lineup for third-party games as well, because if you remember, the Nintendo Switch's launch lineup of third-party games was pretty bad. There was like no major third-party AAA games right there at launch. Pretty much nothing. Like, I've never seen anything like it, at least in recent memory, with Nintendo systems, at least like with the Wii U, and even with the Nintendo 3DS. They had like Street Fighter and stuff like that. So the fact that the Switch didn't have anything, but didn't really need it. All it needed was The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That's all it needed. And then, of course, Nintendo's big games, which is what sells the system in the first place. Third party come in afterwards, like a bench player, like the sixth man or something like that if you watch basketball. So I think that's what's going to be happening here too, but there's going to be far more frequency of PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports coming over to the Nintendo Switch 2 periodically. I think you're going to see a lot of months loaded with different types of games, but they're going to have to make sure that they space it out so you don't overload everything like they did with the Wii U's launch, where you have all these big AAA third-party games and nobody ends up buying any of it, or people evenly buy the games and there's just not enough people in order for the developers to be satisfied with the sales. So I do feel that the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to get a lot more support than what we saw before with the Nintendo Switch, especially early on. So what do you guys think about Amazon Games and what they have to say about the Nintendo Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section. But now we are going to move on to Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. This is one of the best games on the Nintendo Switch. It's been on multiple of my hidden gems and top strategy RPGs or top turn-based RPGs list. Top RPGs list. It is just incredible. Sega's Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. It's finally here, ready to go. It actually looks really good. I love the box art. I think I'm going to have to buy this just for the box art alone. And there's going to be 3 versions of it. So you have the standard version of the game, you have the Galleon version, and the Ragnite version. And they're all really cool. One of them, when it comes to the best version, the Ragnite, comes with a stuffed pig plushie with the wings, comes with a banner, comes with all sorts of cool stuff, comes with a tank, comes with little acrylic standees, when it comes to the characters. It comes with all sorts of stuff, steelbook and a little medal and a badge and cards and a tank. I mean, it's pretty cool. I might have to go with this Ragnite edition. However, the price, we got to talk about that because these are expected to ship out in January of 2025, and it's going to be priced at $34.99 for the standard edition. The Galleon edition is coming out in March 2025, and that's going to be $69.99. And then the Ragnite edition will be shipping in June of 2025, and that's going to be $199.99. But if you want the game on the eShop, it's $20. So just keep that in mind when it comes down to it. So yeah, it's looking pretty cool, and pre-orders are running from August 23rd to September 22nd. So you guys plan on picking up Valkyria Chronicles? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys, we're going to be discussing The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And one of the things that baffled gamers overall, how were they able to load this massive world soaring through the skies all the way down to the underground? How are they able to get it with no loading times whatsoever seamlessly? Well, we got more information on that at this point. So The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom and its massive world doesn't really have any loading times from the skies to the depths. And now part of the Computer Entertainment Development Conference, we're able to learn a little bit more about what happened. Now, Breath of the Wild was originally targeting the Wii U and featured a world based on a flat 2D structure. Nintendo took things to another level now that it was working with more powerful Switch hardware only. However, things were far from easy. As reported by Famitsu and shared by Automation, one issue the developers needed to deal with early on was long loading between the surface and the underground, which caused the game to freeze on occasion. Now, among the tactics Nintendo used to address the issue was taking advantage of a profiling tool in order to measure and analyze the game's performance. Doing so let the team become aware of the objects that were taking the longest time to load and preventing seamless transitions. These objects were then allocated to blank time and would only load when no other loading was taking place. Data that wasn't immediately needed was put off as well. On top of that, the developers attempted to scale back the number of files that need to be loaded. The team came up with a system that identified which objects and parts of the terrain would not be part of the player's field of view, which is based on Link's position. Some textures also saw a lower resolution, assuming there won't be a negative impact. Along with everything just mentioned, Nintendo came up with a way to get a head start on loading. The game is able to find all the files needed for loading before the player goes underground. Loading then happens once the player comes across a possible waypoint to the underground, like a large hole in the ground. The islands in the sky use similar prediction methods as well. Islands were split up into larger ones related to the storyline, others that serve as a transit point to other islands, and islands with challenges such as, how do I get there? The game is then able to decide which islands to load or unload in favor of another one based on the player's actions and location. Something else discussed during the talk is Rupee Bulletin Board the team used, and you guys can check out more information. Nintendo Everything had the whole article on that. So yeah, very interesting to see that with The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The seamless loading was one of the best things about the game, and I absolutely loved that it does have that. The only time that I really felt anything is that sometimes, like when you're going from like the sky all the way down to the depths, there might be a hitch or two. I remember feeling like a hitch every now and then, but not every time, but sometimes. So yeah, still very impressive overall considering the scope and size of Tears of the Kingdom, and I cannot wait to see what they do next, because I think the next Legend of Zelda game is not going to be anything like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild. I think it's going to be something different, but also have a few different things plucked from there. So it's going to be very interesting to see what they do next on the more powerful Nintendo Switch 2. So what do you guys think about everything that we discussed here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch and RPG videos right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.